All right, welcome to Mic'd Up and Misinformed with your hosts Lunch Money and Mad Dog. Today
Let's
we're going to break
go.
down the UFC and we're going to do the NFL. So stay tuned and get ready for some banging picks. All
Yeah. Yeah,
right,
last week's
so
cards were crazy. Some of them went our way, some of them didn't go our way. Same, like if you hedged Lunch Money's parlay against Wei Lee, you would have won there. We both were wrong about the main fight, but that was just a lay and pray. I mean, sometimes you get these wrestlers, especially some of these Dakistani wrestlers, they just hold on for dear life. I mean, he went for a few submissions, but couldn't really get anything going. Jack was doing a good job on the floor. He just couldn't do any work.
yeah, I was surprised by how dominant Islam made that look, and all prop and respect to him. As
Yeah.
far as our plays went, if you used Mad Dog's Martingale method, his first play hit. So if you bet that, you would have been riding off in the sunset for the night. And then as far as my parlay went, I had I had Protez, I had Bo Nickel. Um, who else did I have? I had somebody else that hit, and then Zhang Wei Li was the
Oh,
last leg.
Blanchfield. You had Blanchfield.
Blanchfield, yeah, that
Yeah.
was my lock of the night too, and she
Yeah.
made that easy work.
She
Um,
did.
Wei Li was the last leg of my
Yeah.
parlay, and that was pretty close to a pick 'em. I mean, Valentine was like minus 130, minus 140. So
Yeah.
if you would have hedged that, you would have been in a win-win situation, and we did mention that as well.
Yep. Yeah. Sometimes that's what you have to do, especially when you start getting plus. The parlay was plus 484, so you easily could hedge that and still win on either side.
Yeah, I mean, you would have got if you would have hedged. I mean, you would have got you would have got good value out of that.
Yeah.
But
You still would have won
anyways,
2 units
I
easy.
rarely do hedge. I recommend it, but I rarely do because I'm greedy. All right, I'm getting the UFC up here. Um, I don't have a lot of picks for the prelims as usual, but I will have some picks later on that I really like. So
Yeah.
let's get to it, man. The first fight of the night we have. And also, mind you guys, these fights are in Qatar, so the start time will be different than the usual like prelims around 3:30, 4:30 Pacific, and then about 7:30 main card Pacific time as well. So the times are going to be a lot different. Did you say it's going to be probably in the morning?
I think it's at 8 a.m. for us, dude, over on the West Coast. Yeah. The
Okay,
prelim, the prelims are at 8, and the main card's at 11.
okay. So note that, guys. Pay attention. The fights will start at a totally different time, heck of a lot earlier.
Prefer it earlier, because then it's like waking up to Saturday morning cartoons, bro. I'm like eating breakfast, watching
Man,
fights.
I have like some arguments with friends sometimes about like the preference of being able to watch like even NFL games like starting at 10 a.m. on the West Coast. I
Yeah.
prefer morning. I get up at
I
like 5,
prefer it.
6 a.m.
Yeah. I
So
prefer it.
when they come on, it's amazing to me because
Yeah.
waiting, living in the Midwest or in like New York, you're waiting all day for the games to come on, man.
Sometimes these fights aren't done till like 2 a.m. Fuck that. I'm trying to be in bed.
Yeah, I'd rather have them start at 2
For
a.m.
real, bro. For real.
All right, so first fight of the night we have Denzel Freeman versus Marek uh, Bulo.
Yeah, something like that, dude. I know.
Bulo. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not the greatest. There's a lot of hard names to pronounce, especially these new ones and the that are coming into the UFC. But uh, I'm just gonna call him Merrick. Merrick is plus 165 and Freeman is minus 195. I'm not very familiar with either fighter. What do you think?
I stayed away from this fight. I'm not familiar with either fighter either. There's a couple of guys that like barely fought or maybe fought one time for the UFC, and that's kind of how this whole card is, unfortunately.
Yeah, I hate to sound like I don't have knowledge UFC because I literally watch every card, but
Yeah,
with these newer fighters, I like to, I need to watch them fight like 2 or 3 times before I can really like make an assessment and a real opinion on their fights. I don't like just blindly giving out a pick if
yeah,
I'm not very familiar.
for
Um,
sure.
all right, next up here, my tablet's a little frozen here. Do you have the next fight on the card?
Yeah, I know my picks are a little bit mixed up because I feel like on Google some of them were off. So let me pull it up. Boom. They didn't have some of the fights listed even on Google still. So the next one is I don't know Sagi Agizgamov versus Nicholas Dalby.
Ooh, what do you think about that one?
I don't know. It's crazy because I feel like Dalby, he wins in good views sometimes, but I feel like I don't know. He's kind of a hit or miss fighter. It just depends on which version of him shows up. Um, I don't know. That's a tough one. I kind of feel like they're using this one to allow Sagid to, start moving up the ranks and show his ability and his skills. But I don't know. This is kind of one of those tricky fights. It's like I'm going to stay away.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those like layup matchups for Sagid. He's 22-2. He's, I'm assuming, a lot younger fighter.
Yeah.
Dolby's close to 40 years old now, so I
Yep.
always take the younger guy in this matchup. There's a reason why Sagid's minus
Yeah.
350, so
Yeah.
I put him on a parlay. I'm not real familiar with him, so I'm gonna stay away, but I feel like that'd be a pretty safe parlay piece.
Yeah. I think exactly. I think you could easily put that in a parlay and get away with it just fine. But like you said, I think they're just using this as kind of a layup, allow him to get into the UFC, get wet in a sense. But I don't know. I'll stay away because Dolby can fight, and he does will pull it off sometimes.
Yeah, he's a solid fighter. Just at the end of your prime, man, time flies by fast in MMA. Man, we were just talking about dogs earlier. Man, MMA fighters are like their careers are like in dog years. Man, they fly by. Look at
Who's
like
that?
Leon Edwards last week, man. At one moment he was on top of the world as champ, and the next thing you know, he's on a
He,
two-fight losing streak.
yeah,
And
exactly.
it looks, I don't know how many of the top 10 he could beat at this moment.
Yeah, I
But
don't. I think he's on his way out. I mean, again, a good fighter, but he's kind of hit his prime here.
yeah. Next up, we have. I'm not familiar with either of these guys either. We have Aliv and we have Shamrock. Aliv is minus 300. Shamrock is plus 240. Aliv is 10-0, and Rock is 12-1.
Yeah, so I mean, same thing. It's like Ali's been on two UFC fights. He was on the Contender Series and then did two fights, but he just really hasn't fought anybody. There's been no. He hasn't had any real good tests yet. Again, this is one of the ones I'll stay away. Again, if you wanted to put that in a parlay piece, you could. I mean, more than likely, I feel like Ali wins, but it's probably going to decision either way.
Yeah, I think with that matchup, those are both green fighters. Let's
Yeah.
see what they do, and we'll assess from there.
Yeah, because Rox, he hasn't. This will be his first UFC fight. He came from Octagon MMA. I don't even know where that is.
Yeah, I have no idea. All
Yeah.
right, let's skip up to a fun one. Next up, we have Bezkat Almakhan versus Alessandre Topuria. Alessandre is Elia's brother. He's pretty green to the UFC and new. Typically, UFC fighters that are pretty good that have a sibling, their other sibling is typically not as good. You see,
Yeah,
like
isn't
the
it crazy how that works?
Dawkins brothers.
Yep.
Kyle Dawkins really good. His brother Chris faded out in the UFC.
Yeah.
The Usman brothers.
Yep.
Kamaru's really good.
Xavier,
Brother
you guys stay
heavyweight,
away.
not so
He,
great.
he sucks,
Um,
bro. He
the
sucks.
Walker brothers. Johnny was super entertaining
Yeah, he came
earlier in
out
his career,
well.
but
Yeah.
now he has a glass chin, respectfully,
Yeah.
and his brother Volter is on fire right now. He's the
Yeah.
heel hook uh,
The champ.
god.
He's got like 7 of his last like 11 fights have been heel hooks. It's crazy.
And then even Valentina Shevchenko and her sister, Valentina is
Yeah.
superior. There's when it comes to siblings in the UFC, in my opinion, uh, there's a superior one, and then there's one that's just not as good. With
Yeah.
this matchup, Bezcott is well rounded. He has a lot of MMA experience. I feel like Tapuria is a little bit too green here. I think the
Yep.
public money's going to come in heavy on Tapuria. People are going to say, "Oh, that's Elia's brother. I got to
Yeah.
smash it." And think he's going to fight the exact same way.
But
I'm going
he's
to
not.
take Bezcott here as a slight underdog. It's basically a pick 'em, but Bezcott is at a plus 100. I'm going to take the slight dog in this.
I'm taking Bezcott too. He's got an 83% finish rate. He has 10 KOs in his name. I do maybe kind of seeing this going maybe a little bit longer. It might go to the decision. He might not quite get the KO here. But I think this is going to be. I think these guys are going to be fighting and scrapping real well. And I mean, this will be Toporia's second UFC fight. I think he was on the Contender Series, and then this will be it.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit too green.
Yeah, he's a little bit too green. And sometimes these guys, their first 1 or 2 times in the UFC, it's like they come out with stage fright and maybe they don't get started off right away. And like you said, I think Bezcott's got the experience. He's going to come out, just throwing gloves right away. And again, at 10 KOs, this dude wants to, put the licks on somebody.
Yeah, and I think, getting a win over anybody with the last name Taporia at this point will, give him
Some
give him a
credit.
good look going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so next fight, we're gonna skip up here. We have Almabayev versus Alex Perez. Almabayev is a minus 220. Alex Perez is a plus 180. I feel like Perez has the experience here. Um, he's fought. He has a better resume. He's fought more contenders, but Almabayev being at a minus 220, I think he's just a lot more talented. Perez is a little bit out of his prime at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, exactly. Perez has only won one of his last five fights, which is not looking good. This dude's kind of working his health down the ladder, unfortunately, and I think they're putting Alamev ready to go up, start moving up the ladder here. I see this fight going to submission or decision. I think there's gonna be a lot of grappling again, kind of the lay and pray style.
Yeah, I like Almabayev a lot in this matchup. I feel like that'll probably be my first parlay piece of the night.
I'm definitely picking Alamev.
All right, next up we have super exciting fighter Luke Riley versus Bogdan Grad. Riley's a minus 260. Bogdan is a plus 210. Luke Riley's one of those really high. He's a highlight reel fighter. The
Yeah,
UFC's pushing him to go up the ladder and get some contender fights at some point. He's younger as well. He's 11-0. Bogdan is a 15-3. I love Riley in this matchup. This is one of my favorite picks of the UFC card. Won't be surprised at all if he gets a knockout, but I got him. He's either going to win by knockout or decision.
I agree that this fight's gonna end in a knockout, but I think Bogdan's gonna get it, dude. I think we might see a surprise here. I think Bogdan's got a. I know, bro. I know. Bogdan's a mad dog, dude. I feel like he comes in there. He's got a chin. He can withstand the punches. He's not gonna get KO'd in any fancy way here. I think Bogdan's gonna wrestle him a little bit, and I think that's how he's gonna end up getting the points. And I think he gets caught, dude. I think Bogdan. I think it ends in a KO, but I think Bogdan wins.
Bro, Luke Riley is going to
I know, bro.
absolutely
I know.
dance on this guy.
I know.
He's going to dance on him.
We'll see, dude. This will be
Th-
one of the
this
ones.
fight is going to look like this fight's going to look like what Prates did to Leon, bro.
I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. I think it'll be better. I think Bogdan's gonna. He's got a chin, bro. I think Bogdan's gonna hold up real well. I think he's gonna be a little bit more dominant in the wrestling as well. Like I said.
I'm going to be bold here. I'm going to say last week I said Aaron Blanchfield is a lock.
I
I'm going to
know
say
this
same
guy.
thing about Luke Riley.
All right,
Luke Riley and before that, I think I'm on fire with the one pick I say is a lock cuz before that I said Mackenzie Dern lock.
yeah,
Right now I'm going to stamp it Luke Riley absolute lock.
he's going for it. I like Bogdan, so we'll have to do a personal side bet, dude. I think Bogdan wins.
Yeah, we'll make a fun bet on this one. Dude, I can't pronounce either of these next fighters. If you feel comfortable, we can talk. You can give a pick, but I only know Tagir Ulanbekov. He's in Habib's camp and Islam's, but the guy he's fighting, I'm not familiar with at all. His name's it looks like Koji Hershgui.
Yeah, so Koji's a Bellator fighter. This will be his first UFC fight. Um, and he's from top team. So I think this will be a good fight, but unfortunately, again, this is gonna be a decision or submission. I think Tagir's gonna come in and get the win. I think same idea, dude. He's gonna come in here and just wrestle to death and a lay and pray style. But I could see him getting the submission. This will be his first fight for Koji in the UFC. So same thing. Sometimes these guys come out just a little shell shock.
Yeah, it seems like fighters from other promotions more often than not really struggle in their first fight or two in the
Yeah,
UFC.
I feel like just the lights, the pressure, and again, traveling to Qatar, I think that changes it a little bit too for people. So
I will say Koji, his record here says 34-5. I don't know anything about him, but man, it seems like despite not fighting in the top organization, it seems like he does have a lot of experience fighting.
he does have a lot of experience. He's more of a stand-up guy. Yeah, I think Tagir is just going to win with the overall grappling, and I could see it ending in a submission or decision.
I'm gonna stay away because I'm not familiar with Koji, but I will note that Tagir is probably the lowest or the worst fighter out of the Dagestan camp. You know, of the Dagestani fighters,
Yeah, yeah,
Tagir is probably the lowest of the
yeah.
bunch.
That's
So
fair.
be
I'll take
be
that.
take him with caution. But yeah, the dude. How often do fighters from that camp lose?
Yeah,
Slim,
exactly.
slim to none, bro.
I think all these guys, even the lowest level guy, could still out wrestle the shit out of both of us at the same time.
Dude, Habib's not messing with me, bro. No, I'm kidding. uh, Next up, we have Sergey Spivak versus Shamil Gaziv. I love Gaziv in this matchup, bro. I feel like it
Yeah.
goes two ways. Either Gaziv knocks him out, which that's what I'm leaning on. I'm
Yep.
thinking that he wears Spivak out. He defends takedowns for a round. Spivak maybe holds him down for a round or so, but if Gaziv lands one time clean, it's over with. Spivak, I see his two paths are either a lucky submission or he lays on top of him for 3 rounds and gets a decision. But Gaziv is live for that knockout at any point.
Yeah, I agree, dude. I think Shamil he's on a streak. I would say he does get tired in the later rounds. So if Spivak could really wrestle and tire him out, he has a chance of maybe pulling off the decision. But this will be Spivak's third fight of the year, so sometimes that makes a little bit of difference on these fighters, right? Yeah, I mean, I think Shamil is he's crazy, man. I think like you said, he's going to come in. He probably ends in a KO fairly quickly. But he could get tired in the last few rounds and something bad could happen. But I think Shamil's he's been on a streak and he's just going to continue riding up the ladder right now. That's definitely a good pick of the night right there. What are the odds on that one?
It's dang near pick'em. Shamil is a -135 and Spivak is a +115. I just
No,
feel like Spivak, when I've seen him fight some of the contenders, dude, he's looked horrible in some fights. Like some
yeah,
fights he looks like a dominant wrestler, and
yeah,
then some fights I'm like, man, like he's still super green. He's not ready for the moment. I feel like his IQ's not really there. The wrestling's nice. He has some submission threats, but
yeah,
as far as the gas tank and his stand-up game is weak.
yeah. No, I agree, dude. I don't think he's fully well rounded, and I think the boxing makes a difference in this match, and you have to give it to Shamil for these two fighters.
Yeah, let's roll the Gaziv here. Um, let's see. Next up, we have Jack Hermanson versus Orlobai. Orlobai. Sorry, Orlobai Ball.
Oh
I
my!
can't say his last name.
I know, dude. Some of these guys like Mike Beck,
Yeah,
Orlabai.
that's a tough one. I know
Yeah,
Jack Hermanson very well, but this other guy I'm not familiar with. Is the other guy's 14-2. Hermanson's 24-9. Hermanson's a +210 dog, and the favorite here is -260. What do you
I mean,
like?
I mean, there's a reason for that, dude. Because Orlabai, I mean, he's got 12 fights that finished by KO. So I mean, this dude's gonna be in there ready to scrap. And I think Jack is towards the end of his career, man. I mean, he doesn't really lose the strikers because he's more of a grappler. He's not going to allow himself to be, standing in the pocket and getting beat up. So I think this will be a good test for Orlabai. But I think he gets the win, dude, and I could see this ending in a KO, man. Honestly, I think Jack's just starting to feel the age and the sport really wearing on the body overall.
Yeah, Jack's darn near 40 now. He's at the end of his career. This might be his last fight. If anything, he
Yeah,
has one more after this. I think he's really about to retire.
I could
Um,
see it.
I feel like there's two types of gatekeepers in MMA. You're either gatekeeping the contenders, like there's a guy, you're a gatekeeper to see if you're ready for the high contenders for
Yeah,
title shots. And then there's gatekeepers for, is this guy going to be in the UFC or not? And I
yeah,
feel like Jack is that lower tier. He was a contender gatekeeper,
yeah,
but now he's that lower tier gatekeeper where it's like if you can beat Jack, yeah, you're in the UFC. Like
yeah.
you have a chance to have some longevity in the UFC.
Yeah, I agree with that, dude. I think, like you said, he's towards the end of his career. He might have one more fight in him. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets beat up and retires.
Yeah, I
Well,
wouldn't either. And
yeah,
I like Jack too. He's a
yeah.
good solid fighter, but MMA years go by fast and he's pushing 40 and he's regressed for sure the last probably 3 years.
33 professional fights, dude. That's gonna wear on anybody.
Yeah, facts, bro. Next up we have Alonzo Minifield versus Volkan Ozdemir. Who you like?
I don't know, dude. This one's weird because I feel like Alonzo Menifield, the dude's had some good highlight reels, right? The dude's been a good striker at times, but then other times he comes out completely flat and does absolutely nothing. I feel like his chin's gotten a little questionable lately. Vulcan's got 13 KOs, so it's like a 65% finish rate in his fights. I mean, to have 13 knockouts in 20 fights is pretty incredible. I'm definitely going with Vulcan on this one.
You know what? I'm gonna fade you then and go with Alonzo Minifield here.
Let's do it,
Um,
baby.
I feel like my thing between these two fighters, Minifield has more power on his side, but his
Yeah,
IQ's not always there at
yeah,
times. I feel like Minifield sometimes like he doesn't know when to go for the finish and apply super pressure, or sometimes he holds back too much. You know, his IQ's kind of questionable.
yeah,
Whereas with Vulcan, I think he's technically so sound, but he's at the tail end of his career. And sometimes I question if he really wants to be there. Like he seems like one
yeah,
of those fighters to me. And some fights I just wondering, dang, does he have passion? Does he really care right now? You know, does he
yeah.
really want this? And he's a fighter that I question, like how bad does he actually want it? Because he seems like he doesn't care some fights.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree
because
with that, dude. Yeah, I think this is one of
so
the fights that, depending on who wins, someone might stay in, and the other guy will get let go of the roster.
ooh, that's an interesting take.
Yeah,
Um, I think Minifield's going to be a little bit hungrier now
he has
for
to
this
be.
fight. He's going to be the
He has
hungrier guy, and even I think Vulcan probably outstrikes him, but Minifield's one of those fighters. He just needs one
Yeah,
shot to land clean, and Vulcan's out cold. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go bold here. I'm gonna take plus 190, and I'm gonna juice that up to probably plus 250, plus 300 by saying Minifield by knockout.
yeah. I like it, dude. I honestly, this is a tough one. I could see you going either way. I just think the little bit of experience, Vulcan's got it. Can get the KO. Like you said, I think he fights a little bit more intelligently, and I think Benefield, if you could just get him a little bit off his game, get him a little frustrated, it's over.
Yeah, Vulcan has more paths to victory.
Yeah,
All right, but yeah, I'm not very confident about that one either. I do like
yeah.
Minifield as the dog though.
I would
Um,
almost pick Benefield against anybody else, but I don't know. I just feel like he's been having a tough couple of fights. I don't know. I think he's only what one, maybe two of his last 4 or 5 fights.
yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to go deep in his
Yeah,
profile here, but
I mean
my
he's been.
iPad right now has been freezing up, so I'm so scared to click into the
Oh,
matchups
you're
deeper.
good.
I'm just speaking off top.
Yeah, no. Most of this stuff is just right off the top of our head, guys. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and dude,
I feel like he's
we
been having
both
a
like
tough
are
one.
diehard. You know, we love watching UFC fights and stuff. But you know, a lot of cappers or people when they're doing their podcasts, like really research how to pronounce everybody's name,
Oh
even the
yeah,
newbies and stuff. And like for us, we're just dudes. We put the fights on every Saturday. We watch the Contender Series. We watch all the fights, but
yeah,
we're not. I don't know about you, but I'm not like deep diving into their profiles and studying their fights. I'm just going off of what I watch.
yeah. I mean, for the most part, I'll go and look at some stuff, and sometimes if the guy doesn't know, I'll go look to see where he came from or what team he's fighting with. But yeah, for Menefield, he's 2-2 out of the last four. So Carlos Erdberg knocked him out in the first round. Asmet knocked him out in the second round, and then he beat Julius Walker and Umar Sy in decisions.
That's not bad, bro. I mean, you
Yeah,
said he lost to, yeah. I mean, um, but both the guys he lost to
yeah,
are solid
Asmat
fighters,
and
though.
Carlos Erdberg. So again, I mean, exactly. And again, he did submit Jimmy Crute. The first one went to a draw. So I mean, it's not. I don't know. I just feel like it's. Sometimes he fights really well, and sometimes he doesn't fight very well. And again, I feel like his chin might be a little questionable. So I think Vulcan gets the win here, but this is a tough one.
All right. Next up, all right. Now we're getting into the juice. Now we got the co-main event: Ian Gary versus Bilal Muhammad. Bilal is a former champ, plus 220. Ian Gary only losses to Shavkat, and he's at minus 270 right now.
Dude, I don't know, man. This is kind of a tough one too, dude, but for a different reason. I feel like this fight definitely goes to the decision. Um, I don't know. I think Muhammad might get the win here, dude. I think he might be able to just grapple a little bit more and get a little bit more control time and essentially just push out the win. I don't really see either guy getting knocked out or submitted. So I think this goes to decision. I think Muhammad might just be able to piece it together.
I know MMA math is messed up. Like you can be as manipulative as you want with points, but I want to
Yeah.
ask you this question: if you would take Bilal here, who would you take? Ian Gary versus Leon Edwards,
Ian Gary.
and and I
I
I don't
know,
know,
I
dude.
know. It's tough, dude. It's tough. I know exactly.
I think Ian Gary smokes Leon. I think he smokes Bilal. I think he's smoking Bilal, dude. Okay. Who would you? What would you put Bilal versus Shavkat? Do you think
Oh,
that'd be
that's
close?
no. I don't think that would be as close, dude.
I think Shavkat would put Bilal away in the first two
Yeah,
rounds.
I think he
But
put him away
all
right
I'm
away.
saying is I think Ian
But
Gary is
Ian
gonna
Gary doesn't have
smoke
that.
Bilal,
He
bro.
doesn't have that same power.
Yeah, I think Ian Gary beats beats Jack Del Maddalena. I
Yep,
think he beats Leon. Um,
he definitely
the
beats
only
him.
he beat Prates.
He did, which was crazy, but he did. Yeah.
Prates would knock Bilal out into Jupiter.
I think
I,
Ian just he doesn't fight as aggressive as some of these other guys though, right? He's kind of a more of a point striker, like a karate style, where he kind of stays back and he's really just I mean he's striking obviously, he's
he
making
doesn't.
punches,
He's not like a
contact.
Pantoja. Like he's not fighting to kill. He's
Yeah,
fighting to not lose.
yeah, exactly,
He
exactly.
reminds me of his style is a lot. The mindset of his style reminds me of Israel Adesanya's a lot.
Yeah, very, very similar, but he's still. I just don't think he has that power or that killer instinct, I should say. So I think that's where if I'm Muhammad, I'm gonna try to stay inside the distance, and I'm gonna try to just grapple and just win by control time. This is a lay and pray type, match.
I think Gary's gonna have the reach on him too. Man, you
He
know
does.
what?
He
And
does have the
and
reach on him.
here's another thing too that I'm thinking. So first of all, I think Gary smokes Bilal. And second of all, Dana, like there was rumors saying that Dana said that the winner of Brady and Morales was gonna get the title shot.
Yeah,
So Ian Gary's thinking in his mind right now, I can't just win this fight if I want a title shot. I need to make a statement.
yeah, that's
So
fair.
and he's I wish this was a main event, so it'd be 5 rounds
Yeah,
because I feel like
exactly.
I feel like this fight could play out a lot of different ways. But
That would make a difference too.
with it only being 3 rounds, I think Gary has no other choice because if he wins a boring decision, he's gonna remain one of the top rankings. But they're probably gonna want to see Shavkat or Morales in there
Uh-huh.
before Michael Morales in there before Gary. So if
Yeah.
Gary wins this by a knockout, he might get that next title shot.
And shit, I feel like Gary's already fought and won against a lot of these guys already.
And then Bilal is what, bro? He's probably 37 now, 38 maybe.
So Ian lost to Shavkat. He beat Michael Page too.
Beat Michael Page, and Michael
Yeah.
Page is hard to beat. And
Yeah.
beat Prates, and
And
nobody's
beat
beating
Prates.
Prates now.
Yeah. And Prates by decision because that was a 5 rounder. And
And
then he beat Jeff Neal in decision, Neil Magny in decision. The crazy one was Daniel Rodriguez because I thought Daniel would have had the striking power there, but he got caught with the head kick.
interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I think the age. Not only do I think Gary's a lot more skilled than Bilal, but the gap is a lot different too. Gary's like at the beginning of his prime right now.
Yeah, I
He's like
agree with
right on the earlier part of his prime where Bilal it's kind of like Leon, bro. Like I think he's going to kind of fade here fast. I
that.
do think he's got a stronger mindset than Leon and a more well-rounded skill set, but with his age and then look at these other contenders, bro. Shavkat, Prates, Gary, Morales.
Yeah, this
Dude,
this
it's
division is
young
stacked.
monsters, bro. Savages.
I agree. Yeah, I mean,
I,
if Muhammad needs to win here if he wants to stay a contender for the belts, right?
I'm thinking Bilal is going to turn into the contenders gatekeeper.
All right, I mean, he could do for sure. I just think I think it goes to decision. I think Bilal might just be able to pull it off here.
All right.
I
I'm
know.
taking Gary by a
All
first or second round knockout.
right, let's get it, boss.
All right, next up we have Dan Hooker versus Arman Sarukian. Main event of the night. If Arman wins, he's probably getting the title shot if they're not giving it to Patty. And if Dan Hooker wins, a lot of people would not want to see him in that division getting a title shot over them. But would make the division very interesting if Hooker pulls out a miracle in this
Exactly.
one.
If he can
He's
pull it off, dude, I think he gets submitted, bro. I think it's same thing, submission or decision. I think this is we're gonna see a lot of grappling, a lot of submission attempts. I think this is he's just gonna get wrestled to death and get tired and exhausted. And I mean, yeah, I don't know how.
Armand's gonna ragdoll Hooker, bro. Like
Yeah, I don't know
I
how
like
Hooker.
Hooker, but a couple years back, dude, one of Michael Chandler's only few wins in the UFC was against Dan Hooker, and in the first round he mauled him, just straight
Yeah.
took him down, and knocked him out in the first round. I'm thinking, dude, if Michael Chandler did that to him, what's
What's
Armand gonna do?
he's
And
gonna
Dan
kill him.
Hooker beat a art. It was a questionable win over Gamrot,
Yeah, if this is
and
more of a striker match, I could see Hooker having a chance, but this is gonna be a grappling match, dude, 100%. I mean, again,
Armand's too smart,
anybody
bro.
can
He's
get
just gonna
lucky.
ragdoll him.
He's just gonna ragdoll him, dude. He's just gonna take him down, and I think it ends in submission. I can see Armin getting the submission here.
Yeah, I definitely like the finish in this one, and I think also Armand knows that he messed up pulling out of that title fight when he had the opportunity to fight Islam again, and he knows he's not going to mess up that opportunity again. They know that if this fight's boring or if Armand's doing anything weird here, they're just going to go ahead and give that to Patty, possibly but doubtfully give to Gaethje. But Armand has to make
Yeah,
a statement here. And dude, this is really of all the contenders in the lightweight. No offense, but Dan Hooker's the easiest matchup of all
yeah,
these ranked
yep,
guys. I mean, I think he's the easiest one to beat. This is a fight begging for Armand to get an easy finish and make a
yeah,
statement here.
yeah. I mean, this is definitely. What are the odds even? It's got to be like minus 300.
Armand's minus 600
Oh
and
shit! Yeah,
Hooker's plus 400. So
yeah,
yeah, it's if you're gonna bet the fight, your best bet to get any plus money if you're lucky is to do Armand by submission, knockout, or decision. I
yeah.
think so. I
Even
think
then,
so, bro.
yeah. I think it ends in submission.
Yeah. All right.
Again,
So
this is a good card. It's just kind of a weird card a little bit. And again, a reminder: it starts early in the morning. Again, go down to the comments and tell us why we're wrong or tell us why we're right. Tell us your opinion down below.
roast us for how we pronounce, especially me, how I pronounce the names, because dude,
Roast
some
is
of these
great.
guys that I don't know, it's heck trying to uh,
Say their
read these.
names. Yeah.
All right, so I got a parlay here.
All
This
right.
is super chalky, bro. It's only like plus 115. It's
Oh,
super
okay.
chalky, and people are gonna hate on it,
Yeah.
but this is what I call the can't lose parlay.
That's the
Luke
deal.
Riley,
Sometimes the
first
smart
leg.
money wins, dude. You got to do the smart stuff, you know?
Yeah, I gotta put some smart bets in this week. Luke Riley, first leg. Second leg, Ian Gary. Third leg, Armand Sarukian.
All right. I
Three
kind of
leg
like that.
parlay pays about plus 115.
All right. So Ian Gary at minus 290. And I got him at
Armand.
Armon at minus 530 on FanDuel.
Okay.
So it's
And then
plus
Luke Riley's
111.
the other
Luke
leg.
Riley, yeah. So Luke Riley minus 310, Ian at minus 290, Armin at minus 530. So it's plus 111.
Okay. So yeah, you're getting basically a blackjack hand right there.
Yeah, no, still that's yeah, exactly. That's still
So
not bad for that's
it's
not bad
not
at all.
pretty at all, bro. And if I wanted to make the parlay like jump that up to like a plus 180 or higher, I would probably put Gaziv on there. But I think I just want to go safer this week.
No, I think that's smart, dude, honestly.
Maybe sprinkle a straight bet Gaziv by knockout. Maybe.
So Bezcott. So Bezcott would be my first pick of the night
Okay.
for my
For your martingale method.
yeah, for my martingale method. Now it's some of these odds are stacked, dude. I would do
Bescott,
Tagila.
if he won though, that's a blackjack hand. I mean, being a
Yeah,
slight dog, if anything.
that's why I don't mind doing that first, first hand out of the night. And
I like
then,
it.
oh man, that's tough, dude. There's some of these odds, man. They're not the best necessarily. Let me go back.
They're not.
Yeah, yeah. So I would go Bezcott, and then Tagir. Man, some of my underdog picks are great, but and then I would do Shamil for my third leg, dude. That's what I would do for my three.
Okay, so martingale method. First, he would take
Bezcott.
Amabeyev, and then he would
Yep.
go. If that loses, he's taking Tagir, and if that
Yep.
loses, he's gonna go bigger on Gaziv.
Yeah, and at least with the odds on Kazeev, I wouldn't have to go crazy. So you'd bet like 1 unit on Bezcott, and if he loses, you'd have to bet 3 units on Tagir, and you probably have to do like 6 or 7 units for Shamil. So I would bet like $30. If Bezcott wins, I win $30. I'm done for the night. And then if it doesn't, then Tagir, I'd have to bet like $90, and I have to come back and do like probably like a $200 bet to cover.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
dude, I feel pretty good about your first leg hitting. So.
Yeah, that's the deal, dude. If I get the first one, then I'm free for the night. I feel good. I'm comfortable. I'm confident.
Oh, my bad, my bad. On there, I said Almabayev. I'm sorry. On your first leg, my bad, because I said the wrong one. You're taking Bezcott on the first leg. My fault. I just want to
Bezcott,
correct that for the
Bezcott.
pod.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bezcott, Bezcott.
Yeah, for the Bezcott versus Taporia. So
Yeah,
that's the one he has.
yeah,
I said the wrong guy initially, so my fault on that.
yeah. Alma Kakan.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
said
so I think.
Almabayev, the one versus Alex Perez. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, no. His. Well, I thought about that, but the odds aren't the best. The odds are like minus 220 for him, so it
Yeah.
kind of makes it tough. Anything that they start going over 200, it's tough because you got to bet so much just to win your money back plus 1 unit. So my goal is just to win like between $25 and $30. So I started with $100 on the account, and then I just started. So at first I was winning like maybe $5, $12, $15. So now the goal is to try to win 30. So I went from 100. I think it's at like 408 or 415.
Dude, that's dope. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So as long as I don't, crash out all 3 fights, I'll just keep stacking it up. And then at some point, if it does lose, I'll just reset.
And check our page on Instagram, Mic'd Up and Misinformed. We're gonna put a whole bunch of stuff on our stories. Dude, we're degenerates. Sometimes we'll end up putting prop bets up there if we like a fighter by submission, knockout, whatever. But check us out because
Yeah.
we'll even clip this up as well.
We'll clip it and we'll post it before the fight start. No, I was trying to do it, like appropriate, but sometimes the timing can be off. And this one being so early, you're gonna have to get up early and check our shit, guys.
Yeah, we'll get it posted a little bit earlier this week. All right, so that's it for the UFC picks. We'll go ahead and end it here, and then we'll start the NFL.
Boom, over and out.